Welcome back to another episode of our GODSU Wednesday Icon Talk. In today's episode, we're covering Masterclass 10, Men of God Unleashing Legacy Successfully, Moguls, Successful Leadership GODSU Men Empowerment Series.
And so now we're going to move to our class number 10, Men of God Unleashing Legacy Successfully, or Moguls, Successful Leadership, GODSU Men Empowerment Series. And we have Dr. Danny Porte will come on and he will introduce Dr. Malcolm B. Alexander, Chaplain Kolawale Ogonyemi, also Dr. Jesse Sharp, Chaplain, Dean Designate His Excellency, Reverend Dr. Leo Pickett, and of course our Dean, His Excellency, Dr. Matthew Fogg. So one by one. Oh my goodness. I mean, tonight, DJ on the 1-2s, he's just playing, he's just playing all the wonderful hits. We had such a phenomenal women's empowerment session. Those ladies had me bawling like a baby. All right, yeah, I cleaned it up, but woo, just amazing. I hope everybody was on to just feel their spirit, so genuine, so heartfelt, just amazing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and hand it over to Dr. Porte. We read his bio earlier, so you know that he's the CEO of PME, he's he's also CEO of Wells Trend. You know that he does business all over the country, all over the world, and that he has a heart of an angel. That's what he has. He gives you the opportunity, but like me, he's a perfectionist. So if you don't do what you're supposed to do, he does a Donald Trump, you are fired. Okay? So don't let all the niceness fool you, because he is a man of business. He's a man of excellence. And so I thought it was great that he would be speaking to men of God, you know, who are unleashing legacy successfully. Didn't say you have to be a millionaire, billionaire to be on here. It just said you had to be a man of God, planting legacy and doing so successfully. So he has each of your bios. Dr. Porte, we're gonna hand it over to you. Take us away.
Thank you, Chancellor. I tell you, now we're going behind the women who were on fire. Guys, you're talking about the whole program today has just been exceptional. And then you take these women, oh my goodness, the women of power, did they bring it? But now I have the challenge, because for me as a young man, I would not ever be on a stage with gentlemen that I have. I got 5 heavy hitters, legends, men of power. I got 5. I don't know what to do. So bear with me today, as I am a nervous wreck, because I want to make sure that I make them shine. Want to make them shine. The women use blooms. So let me start off for a second then. So what is a mogul? If we Google it, it talks about an important person who is very rich or powerful and influential. Well, guess what? I saw Dr. Matthew Fogg on the news. And here I am. I'm going to be introducing him in a minute. I'm still in awe. I am just, I don't believe that I get this opportunity. So here we go. But as a kid, I remember growing up in Columbia, South Carolina. In the months of March, you know, the wind's blowing, my mom would save enough money and she would get me a kite, okay? I would take this kite and I would go outside, and boy, as soon as I would get that kite, I wasn't heavy at all. So that kite would just be pulling me and pulling me and pulling me. And I did everything I could to hold this kite back. But did you hear what I said? I was holding that kite back. Yes. But one thing I know about the moguls that I'm going to be introducing here is they already knew, they already experienced life, to not allow anyone to do what? hold them back. So today, if you got someone holding you and you know that you have that potential, don't be like that kite now. Release them. Get your full potential. Get your full potential. So on today, as I strive to become a well-respected, well-trusted, and dependable businessman, I have the pleasure of being the moderator of today's Moguls. Again, I'm a nervous wreck, and I want to give them all the time in the world, because I have a lot of questions, because they're going to be blessing me on today, as I desire to have that title one day, being a mogul. Okay. My first is going to be Dr. Malcolm D. Alexander, chaplain, founder, and president, Above and Beyond the Call Express, ABCE, self-made entrepreneur and mentor maker, venture capitalist, and entertainment guru. Don't take no for an answer. Go get it done. Says founder and president of Above and Beyond the Call Enterprises, ABCE, and stay-at-home dad for fours, adopted, blessed, and a coach in your life. My question to you is, what's the biggest factor that has helped made you successful?
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that introduction and all that good stuff, Dr. Danny Portier. And just to tell you what, I guess the greatest factor to me is my life was very, very interesting, if I don't say so myself. But I was adopted by a Caucasian couple at a very young age, 11 months old. The adoption agency kept me connected with my foster parents, who were actually African-American. And I have been blessed to just find my biological mother in the last year and a half. I actually saw her for the first time in COVID, which was a very interesting situation. But what happened was my father wanted to get his master's degree in agriculture, although he was a computer specialist for the government in Washington, D.C. We ended up moving up to Pennsylvania. If anybody knows where the Redskins used to practice, it was Carlisle, Pennsylvania. We moved around about 6 times in about 2 years, and we finally settled on a dairy farm. And so we went from living in the city into owning a dairy farm of 100 acres, milking 60 cows a day, twice a day, 60 cows, whether you liked it or not, no vacation, hard work, and not a lot of money, with the idea and the hope that something would come from it someday. And so I contribute a lot of my success to 2 factors. Number one, that I had a very diverse family. I had a whole African-American side of my family, had a whole Caucasian side of my family, and I watched how they flow differently amongst the world. It was totally different. I can tell you a story about that in a second. But the second thing was that I learned hard work. I learned dedication. I learned to get it done regardless. I learned there was no excuses. You can't have an excuse on a farm. You could be sick. You can have the flu. You can be dying, but you must milk those cows twice a day, right? And so, so I went through those things as a child, and I actually ran the farm from 10 to 12 with my mother. Literally ran it. So my day consisted of waking up early, going out to do farm work, getting on the bus to go to school, coming back on the bus, doing farm work, going to bed, being woken up out of my bed so I can go feed the chickens because my brother and sister didn't do it. And I learned all of those things. And so those are the things I think that contributed, really the most to me actually being able to become successful. And I always say, it's your decisions that determine your lifestyle. And sort of like Nike, I think I was saying before Nike, you just got to get it done. And, with God on your side and with good people around you, you stop worrying about how to get it done. And you understand that you will just get it done.
Exceptional. So the takeaway for me is just get it done. Just get it done. Please, you can go ahead and go to mute. My next exceptional panelist, and I'm going to apologize in advance if I don't pronounce your name correctly. Please accept that. Kolawad Olenami, chaplain founder, Hope Community Solutions, LLC, and Hope Auto Sales, Inc. Kolawole Ongenami is a Nigerian-born entrepreneur and minister with decades of experience in spiritual and marketplace ministries. He traveled to the United States to obtain his bachelor's degree in business administration from Appalachian State University in North Carolina. He then graduated with his master's degree in agriculture, education, and extension from North Carolina A&T State University. Question to you, sir. What are your habits of success today?
My habit of success today is through my faith, praying, and trusting God. Because you got to work hard to succeed. First of all, when I was working for a company, all I was thinking is, how can I succeed in this country? Then that is when I started the auto sales, because I started with accident auction. Started buying accident car, selling it to different students so that I can make money to pay for my school, little by little. So I started early. So with that, I was able to succeed. Yes, I was down before. I was down because after I retired from work, I started Hope You Travel. With that Hope You Travel, my overhead was more than my income. So then I have to pray, because you see that time, that is when I remember about Romans 12:12 that said, rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be constant in prayer. Because you see, I was not in peace with myself that time. Because you're thinking of all this money you spend in traveling business. Then when I remember all those things in Romans 12:12, then I have to bring myself up, because he said, there is nothing impossible in the front of God. So then I move on. That is how I was succeeding. Then when I started my business, I was looking at both. I test my market, see who I'm going to deal with. Because like the country I came from, you have to deal either with the rich people or the poor. But who is my market? Then I decided my market is supposed to be less privileged people. Through that, I was able to do what I need to do, both in the ministry and in sales. So with that, I was able to do well with my business. That is why I was able to start Hope Community Solution and Hope. From that Hope Auto, so we changed another name. We bought another franchise. We call it City Auto Auction, where we sell auction cars. Like, because of the mechanics, they buy a car, they fix it. We sell it to them. That's how we develop, and that's how we are successful in life.
Well stated. So my takeaway there, as a young Army veteran, would be there's nothing impossible when trusting God. Absolutely nothing impossible when trusting God. My next panelist is Dr. Jesse Sharp, chaplain, the National First Vice President, BIG, and the President of Education BIG Chapter. Dr. Jesse Sharp is a mentor and a published author of over 20 books. A graduate of Eckerd College, he currently serves as the National First Vice President of Blacks in Government and President of Education BIG Chapter. In 2013, he received the MLK Drum Major for Service Award. My question, sir, would be, what mistakes have you made along the way, and what did you learn from those?
Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate being here on the panel. And I guess you gave me the hardest question. Life is full of mistakes. And I think the biggest mistake was not putting the proper value on what I produce. And the best way to explain this is a story. When I first started writing and had published a book, And I sold that book for $5. I was at a book fair and sold all of my books. And the guy next to me, he asked, "How much are you selling that book for?" I said, $5. He said, "Why only $5? And I remember saying, I thought everybody was like me and didn't have the money. But he said, "Well, how much time and effort did you put in the book?" And I gave a long story about that, right? And so he reminded me that, first of all, not everyone is poor. Secondly, your work has value. And if you devalue your work, you devalue yourself, and you will find out that people will not purchase your book because they think it's cheap. I had to learn that lesson because that devaluation occurs in other areas. When you become a public expert, if you will, one of the questions will come up: why are you an expert? What gives you the right to write this book or to speak on this topic? And you have to have confidence in yourself. People will always challenge you. And what they really are doing is challenging your foundation. When you have a strong foundation, when you believe in yourself, you can deal with any challenge. So I think my biggest mistake earlier on was not believing in me and not believing in the work that I actually produce because I did not have a big name. The last thing I want to say, I want to make a correction. I am no longer the first national vice president of BIG. I was the first national vice president for 4 years. This past January, my term ended. I am still chapter president of Blacks in Government at the Department of Education. So just wanted to make that correction because you know how that goes. I'll be getting phone calls soon.
Well stated. Thank you for sharing that. My takeaway, and I know that we have a young person listening in His Excellency Dakar. He referenced how he made a mistake of $700 letting people get away.
Yes.
So Dakar, yes. I hope that you heard that. I really hope that you heard that. Okay. But not knowing your value, realizing your worth is so important. So the next person is Dean, His Excellency, Dr. Matthew Fogg, Chaplain, GODSU, Dean of Security, and retired U.S. Marshal. Dr. Matthew Fogg is the top security expert on major news networks such as CNN and MSNBC. I've seen you on both. His responsibilities have covered the United Nations, heads of states, and celebrities. Dean Fogg was the famous featured first responder for 9/11 on the cover of the U.S. News magazine. I got to give you a tough one, sir. I have to give you a tough one. What was the hardest decision you've ever had to make, and how did you arrive to making it? And would you have changed anything today?
Man, that's an easy one, but I appreciate that one. Let me tell you, man, I give honor to God and I say, Lord, may the words of my mouth and meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. For you are my strength and my redeemer. Amen. I just want to say that, and I ask you to forgive me. I had the background right, and Dr. Chancellor, I know you're gonna ask me about that. You had it all fixed and everything was right, and then all of a sudden I get here and it's not popping up. Y'all know who I am, so I'll take it from there. But you know, my motto was that I only regret that I have one life to give, defending the human and civil rights of others. That's my motto. And I think one of the hardest decisions that I had to make was the decision in my career was whether or not to go against the blue wall of silence, whether to stand up for what was right. Yes, all of the stuff that we hear about in law enforcement today and police brutality and everything, all that stuff was going along when I came on board. But they told me, they said, Paul, go along to get along. You can't change the system. We work for the U.S. Department of Justice, the most powerful law enforcement organization in the world. That you don't have enough power to change. Take your God back into the church, but don't bring him over here, because I can tell you what they will do to you over here. They will crucify you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go against the powers of the U.S. Department of Justice. So the decision was, and the family, friends, everybody, Fogg, just go along. Don't report bad policing. When you see them put that young man in jail and mess people up and do things to him, just turn your head. Wait till you become the next head U.S. Marshal. But I was Saul on the road to Damascus. And I'm going to tell you something. Once I made that decision, because God had to show me one day, he said, listen, I didn't put you there to just do what they told you to do and what they commissioned you to do. He said, I'm going to commission you to go against those who brought you forward, those who commissioned you. So my decision was, do I go forward? I came on with a degree in 1978. I was most likely to succeed. Yep, I was one of those black marshals that everybody thought, Fogg, you got it all going on. Whatever you do, don't destroy it on a crusade against bad cops. But I decided to make that decision. And when I did, I wrote a poem, Who Else Do You Need? Because everybody left me, including my fiance, everybody rolled out on me and said, look here, I can't be associated with you. I know one brother came one day and said, Fogg, I love you, man, but I just can't be associated with you because I don't want that. I got my family to feed. I got these things I need to do. So I had to go alone. But let me tell you something. When I got evicted by my own U.S. Marshal colleagues and I sat out there that night, and you know, I started praying and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to fix my little stuff and it's out on the street. And guess what? It started raining. Now I tell people it's one thing to get evicted. It's another thing when it starts to rain. And God said, look here. He said, leave it. I'm going to restore what the cankerworm has taken from me. And so I said to myself, I will go away. And I walked away from it. Years later, I'm sitting in the courtroom and I'm waiting for a jury to deliver my fate. The jury said, we find in the civil action of Matthew Fogg versus the mighty U.S. Department of Justice that you violated 13 out of 14 of his civil rights. We order you to reinstate him from an Inspector 13 to a GS-15 Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal, and we order you to pay him $4 million. But that's not what brought the tears down my face.
Really?
That it wasn't about the money. When they said, we further find that the evidence we've heard here, we find the whole United States Marshal Service from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C., from Houston, Texas to Maine to be a racial, hostile environment for all of its African-American deputy U.S. Marshals. That's when the tears started to roll down my face because I heard a voice in the back of my mind. It said, Matthew, remember that night you sat out in the rain? You said, Lord, everybody's abandoned me. Did I make the right decision? He said, well, now you too have become the cornerstone that the builders rejected. He said, and I ask you now, who else do you need? So that was the biggest decision I made. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thanks for blessing us with that. Stand up for what's right.
Yes.
Stand up for what's right. My next expert panelist is Dean Designate, His Excellency, Reverend Dr. Leo Pickett, ED, Chaplain, CEO of Leo's Worship and Praise, GODSU Dean's Chaplaincy and Honors Program, and GODSU Director of Music. Dr. Pickett, an ordained elder in the Church of God, is a retired professor of music and communications. He is also an actor making movies, training films, documentaries, and commercials. He mentors elementary and junior high boys, offers music therapy and health nutrition advice to seniors through his nonprofit. He is a recipient of the 2014 Distinguished Alumni Award from Lincoln University of Missouri's Music Therapy, where he completed his undergraduate degree. He then matriculated from Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan, with a PhD in 1974 in education. He joined the faculty of GODSU 7 years ago, where he serves as Assistant Dean of Music of the GODSU Success, Teach, and Pray. This is going to be pretty good, but feel free to add upon it however you desire, please. If you could start all over again, what would you do differently?
That's a very, very interesting question, because my grandmother got me when I was a day old. And when I became 6 years of age, because of her involvement with the church, I said, Big Mama, can I join church? She said, of course. And she took me, when I joined church that Sunday, she took me immediately to the music director and says, Sister Ida, this is my grandson. I want you to teach him songs so he can sing on the 11 o'clock hour. So that started a thirst not only for music, but it's hard to say that I would do anything different, because living with her and having a cousin move in who had a job with a white family on the outskirts of St. Louis. One was the gentleman was an architect and she was a landscape painter. I was 10 years old when I took that job. So what I had to do, I wouldn't trade it, because I learned a discipline. I'd get out of school at 3, come home at 3:15, change clothes, take the bus, and get out to their home to work Mondays and Wednesdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday 9 to 12. And I can't think of anything. It gave me the discipline I need for where I went from there. And I can't think of anything that I would change, because it was, well, I know who was directing me, God. And he made me at a young age to be real disciplined. And of course, later on, this paid off. And so when I got to college as a freshman, there were 400 of us. So the first day of freshman orientation week, she says, you got 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Wednesday, I want you to elect your officers. So she rattled off the officers, and I only heard her say one thing. So she said, get around and introduce yourself. Where are you from? What's your name? Why you want to be this office? So long story short, that Wednesday afternoon, after the vote was in, I received 80% of the vote to be president of my class. And so I don't think there's anything, because part of that was discipline, part was the leadership that I gained through the church and other things that I did. I don't know if that answered your question or not.
It did. So in respect of keeping for time today, I'm going to ask everybody the same question. Dr. Pickett, please stay on since you're already unmuted. And then I will come around to everybody, and I ask that you please try to keep your answers short, within less than a minute, if all possible. Dr. Pickett, so
Yes.
What makes you a mogul in your mind today? What makes you a mogul?
In my mind, I think about the old song, love and marriage go together like a horse and carriage. But I've substitute love and marriage for success and leadership. I could say success and leadership go together like a horse and carriage. So that's the way I would answer that.
Beautifully stated. Please go to mute. Dr. Malcolm D. Alexander, please answer that question. Please unmute yourself.
I have. Thank you so much for that. I would have to say, I learned a while ago, when you help people get what they want, you get everything that you want. Now, long before I realized that, my mother used to say to me, I think you have an Egyptian king in you, or something's in you. And remember, she was a Caucasian woman. And so I began to create businesses and began to do things always in mind of helping the underdog. And one of the things that helped me propel myself in business was I created a magazine called Straight from the Street, which became nationally distributed. And that magazine had a cover with 5 components. It had Congressman Norton on the front, it had a major recording artist on the front, it has an upcoming recording artist on the front, had a major business person on the front, and a small business person on the front. And that was a component we put out into the world. So I began to help people and began to realize, long before I even knew that phrase, that when you help people get what they want, you get everything that you want. Back to you, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please go to mute for me. Same question to Kolawad Oganami. Please answer that question for me.
Yes, the first one is humble yourself and helping the community. Because if you do something for your community, it's like you're giving back to your community. Totally, you're going to get back something back. Because when we created the scholarship, when I was helping my community in Greensboro, giving people scholarship, I see different things coming to me, both in my church, because I'm a pastor also. When you help the community, it's totally that you get something in return because you obey the word of God.
Well stated, well stated. Please go to mute. Same question, Dr. Jesse Sharp. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. I want to say ditto. As I was listening to the answers, 2 phrases came into my mind. To whom much is given, much is expected. And as a teacher at an independent Black school, we had a phrase, each one teach one.
That's it.
And that goes to giving back to the community. We all here know the phrase, standing on the shoulders of giants. It was not until I really understood what that meant, that each one teach one and giving back, that I began to truly rise and started sharing my gifts with others, and that's what I'm doing now. The whole publishing is really giving back, helping others rise to do and to speak and to have a voice. So definitely each one teach one.
Beautifully said, beautifully said. Please go ahead and go to mute. Same question, Dr. Matthew Fall.
Thank you. Yes, I would say that one of the great commandments in the Bible is that no greater love than a man lay down his life for another. And I would say that for me, that's the model that you have to have. That's why my motto is, I only regret that I have but one life to give, defending the human and civil rights of others. Because when you do that, sometimes you may have to go through a lot of turmoil in life, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. It ain't always be good, because sometimes you have to take a stand. And as you heard me say, and I remember when I saw the buildings dropped, I was in New York City at Ground Zero. And when I saw those buildings drop, the first thing into my mind was, why are you getting involved? Look what happened to you with the government. But there was a spirit in me said, you go, because I'm going to do something with you. And so what what I want to leave with you is just say that what makes us moguls is that each one of us has a story that rises us above the prey of the others. And when your story takes you above the others, and your story is not about you, but about who you will say, who you will look out after. And so recently I had a fugitive that approached me, 30 years in prison. I thought he was going to kill me. But you know what his words was? Thank you for saving my life. So I give that to God and I say, that is what my motto is. And that's what makes us moguls is we do unto others and we treat others and we go forward and willing to lay down our life if we need to for the safety of others. God bless you.
I'm going to ask that we do one thing before I ask Dr. Leo Pickett to do something for us. We have His Excellency Dakar Eubanks on with us right now. He's a young CEO.
Right.
He's a young professional. I started talking about this kite that I was flying and how the wind was trying to pull it away, and that kite really wanted to go. But in life, we know that he's going to face what? He's going to face many of folk trying to be that string, pulling him back and pulling him back with jealousy and all of that. Can one of you, just show me, by show of hands, just one of you, give him a blessing on the day, how to make sure that he keeps flying high?
Oh, okay, well,
Please.
yes. Brother Dakar, I've seen you, man, as a young man watching over the years. And man, I can tell you that you have all the right stuff, but it is so true. The obstacles that you're going to face in life are going to be there. God knows what obstacles you're going to face. And what we want to tell you is that despite of those obstacles, Word of God says we are more than conquerors. We can overcome those things. So you just remember that you trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not to thine own understanding, and all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. God bless
Thank you. God bless you too.
you.
Dr. Leo Pickett, I saw your hand too. You know I gotta let you get in on that. Go ahead, please.
Well, the first time I saw His Excellency Dakar, I was amazed at not only his knowledge, but his disposition. He wasn't haughty, and he wasn't I know it all. He was very humble, but he was very effective in what he did. And I saw a young man, as the song said, on the way up.
Well said. Wow. Well said. Well said. Well, all of you have blessed me on today, and I hope you blessed the audience who's listening. But we do have one more special request from Dr. Leon Pickett. Dr. Leo,
Yes.
the request is that you please sing GODSU graduation song.
Oh, yes.
So take your time, find the music. We're requesting that you find the music, and that once you find it, that you sing the graduation song, and we will end our session. I can't thank you guys enough. While he's finding the music, is there anyone else that want to share a blessing with His Excellency Dakar? Go ahead, Jesse Sharp, you're already off mute, please.
Yeah, Brother Dakar, I feel I have a somewhat special relationship with him. I don't know if he has shared it with you, but he wrote an introduction to one of my books, and I learned so much about this young man. I would definitely tell him to hold on to the strings of that kite and feel the wind. Feel the wind, okay? The wind will take you higher. If you believe, you have a dream, focus, and tend to it, the wind will lift that kite. I am telling you, this brother is magnificent. I think we've only seen the tip of his iceberg, just a little bit of sheen of his glow. He's in the great family. He has a great group of mentors around him. He's dedicated. Feel the wind. I love that analogy. I love that analogy because you don't have to hold on to the kite, but so tight, just enough to feel the wind.
Okay.
And if those
Well
of
stated.
you fishing,
Well stated.
you know how that is.
I do. Dr. Leo Pickett, please take it home for us. That way we can stay on our time.
May God bless you as you walk this new path. May His Spirit guide you as you walk in His way. Have faith and believe in what He promised to do. He's brought you to GODSU, and he will see you through. Global overday means global worker of God.
Come on, brothers, let's give him a standing ovation. That's right, that's right. So as we close out, and I commend all of you for your outstanding answers, and thank you, although I was extremely nervous, and I know as a professional that you are, thank you for taking care of me and helping me overcome my nervousness with each of you. We have been blessed with the women of power. We know about Wednesday's iconic talks. We know about the powerful men's, the Mogul series, and GODSU chaplain program. Man, what a blessing it is. People need to take advantage of everything that we have access to. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And this concludes our panel discussion. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And Chancellor, she wanted us to take a picture before we all go. So we see all the men here. We have our moguls. So in one moment, I'm gonna count down from 3. 3, 2, 1. All right. Perfect. Thank you. You can come back.
You know, there are times that you have to allow the men to be with the men. And a lot of us women, we don't recognize that. We want to be everywhere. It's Father's Day. And they say, well, I'm a single mom, so I'm having Father's Day. No, honey, give it a break. Let the men do what the men do. There'll be a time for you to come together. So that's why I excuse myself and I'm back again because we're going to move on with the program. But I heard everything and were totally outstanding. Each and every one of you brought the spirit of love, a spirit of brotherhood, of sharing your experiences and transparency. When you hear Dr. Malcolm D. Alexander just tell us his whole life and everything he's been through to bring him to the man that he is today, you have to respect that. You know, when you see Dr. Leo, the first person in a lot of things he did, a pioneer, you know, and let me tell you something, don't let him fool you. That man, we were on a yacht, we're at the Spirit of Washington, and he danced me off the floor. He can actually go all the way down. I said, when they said drop it like a hot, Dr. Leo, they didn't mean it literally. So he is amazing. As for Dr. Jesse Sharp, he has put us on major stages all over Texas. And, you know, if everybody here, only Dr. Leo has been here as long as Dr. Fogg. Dr. Fogg has been with us forever. In fact, he was just on the Black TV channel.
Black News Channel.
Yes, and he made them talk about GODSU and made them say all the wonderful things about GODSU. I know he scripted it because they were saying it too much, like it came directly from us. So thank you, Dr. Fogg, and I think Dr. Sharp was there as well. Chaplain Colo, I know you're new to us, but I see you wearing your jacket so proudly. You know, I see all the men carrying on, and I will follow up with Dr. Portes. I don't know what happened to yours, but I think it's.
Oh, it's because he's got it on.
It's here. It's here. Oh my goodness.
Oh, nice.
Yes, this is lovely. And there's some people, we had one graduate last year, he has 14 jackets with GODSU. He was not playing, okay? And so, you know, this is wonderful. And I hope you guys feel the spirit of the university and know that it's all about you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Love you guys. And we're going to move on to the next panel.
Yes, I want to say, what is my nickname? What do I call y'all? What's my nickname?
Uncle Drew.
Uncle Drew.
Dr. Fogg is such a part of the family. He comes to family parties, so that's how close we are. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. And now I want us to get into our outstanding global workers. First off, we have our Assistant Dean, Dr. Janice Boss Chaplin. She's the author of Code to Human Life, Building Good Relationships, and she's a global distributor with Artists International, Weight Loss, and Shaping Garments. And she's also a GODSU Assistant Dean of Iconic Recruits.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. To God be the glory. To the Right Honorable Excellency, Reverend Dr. Attorney Diane Moore Eubanks, the founder, visionary, and chancellor of GODSU. To Vice Chancellor, His Excellency Dr. Willis Eubanks Jr. To His Excellency Dakar Eubanks, to Her Excellency Cairo Eubanks, and to all GODSU deans and professional staff. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so humbled to have this platform today. To God be the glory. I am Dr. Janice Boss, an author of Code to Human Life, Building Good Relationships, 2, which is my second book. It was published February 2021. And I am so excited, most of all, to be an alumni of GODSU. And I just thank them again for this platform, for allowing me to tell about my entrepreneurship and the impact that GODSU has had on my life. I am an entrepreneur with Artist Life Health and Wellness Company, which has a 2-step system. And the 2-step system consists of nutritional products as well as reshaping garments for women and men. Thanks to Artist Life International. As we know, during this pandemic, we really need to build up our immune system. So we definitely need to be taking our nutritional products. And I am going to just mention one new product of Artist Life, which is the Coral Calcium. It is not new to Artist Life, but it is new to this platform. And it helps your bones, if you have any knee problems, if you have any ankle problems, any kind of skeletal problems, this Coral Calcium will help you. And it's also good for your immune system. And you've heard me talk about Zelle juice, which I'll just show that real quickly. And it works from the inside out. And it's very, very good for your immune system. Now, the Reshaping Garment, I will just show you the body magic. Any woman should want this garment. You can drop 3 sizes in 10 minutes. So if you're wearing an outfit that you haven't had on in a while and you're going to a fabulous event, you can just put on your body magic and go down 3 sizes. Also, I would recommend if you do purchase this body magic, or if you are interested in the body magic, you can wear it for 4 hours a day and it will reduce you permanently 4 dress sizes. And sometimes it's sooner than 3 months. You can wear it for a week and you will really see the difference. But I recommend that you wear it for 4 hours. Now I'm going to give you my contact information. You can reach me by my email at jbdiva1@verizon.net. You can follow me on Facebook, Janice Boss. My website for my books are www.amazon.com/Code to Human Life, building good relationships. And you will see that on Amazon. My 2 books that I have published, one in 2017 and one in 2021. An Artist's Life, for those products and Reshaping Garments, you can look at artistslife.com/DIVABB123. And right now, I'd just like to say how GODSU has impacted my life. It's been like the law of attraction. So many miracles, miraculous things have been attracted to me during my journey with GODSU. And I also just love GODSU for believing in collaboration and not competition. And I have never been in an institution where anybody has a chance to tell about their business, their entrepreneurship, just to expose themselves to the world. And I just love that philosophy. There is no little person, there is no big person. We're all just one big family. And thank you for allowing me to share on this platform.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Janice Foss. Next up, we have helping with public relations for GODSU, our Assistant Dean, Eva J. Brown, Chaplain. She's the former president of the Ministers, Wives, and Widows of Fredericksburg and vicinity, and is a Assistant Dean of Chaplaincy Program.
Hello, everyone. It is indeed an honor and pleasure to be here with you. I am, again, Chaplain Eva J. Brown. I am so excited to be with you. GODSU has just been a blessing to me as a woman of God, as a sister, as a mother, as a friend, and as a daughter. So I just wanted to say that in life, we run into some very interesting people. We make some interesting choices and decisions. But one of the best choices I made in my life was being a part of this great team and body. So I'm just encouraging you. Don't think about it. Don't hesitate. Just jump in with both feet and become a member and become a student and become a part of this great team at GODSU University and Seminary. I just like to always say that sometimes in life, we just kind of go around trying to figure out what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, how far we're going to do it. But just listen to the Holy Spirit, not so much to me, but just within yourself. Say, God, what can I do better? What can I enhance in my life? And how can I enhance others? So at GODSU, that's what you can find yourself doing. So today I'm asking you to come aboard, be a part of us. My name is Chaplain Eva J. Brown. You may reach me at Gmail at evajbrown1954@gmail.com, or you may call me at 540-287-0865. God bless you and thank you.
Thank you, Assistant Dean. Also helping with public relations for GODSU, we have our Assistant Dean, Dr. Patricia McDougall, Chaplain, and she's the CEO of Patricia's Professional Photos, LLC. They do photography and videography, and also GODSU official photographer, and she's Assistant Dean of Iconic Recruits.
Unmute. Hi, how everybody? Just want to say welcome to a beautiful day today. We're up and rise, and it's a pleasure to be here with GODSU, my family, my second family. And it's an honor to be part of the outstanding, services that you provide. And Dakar, I want to thank you for your book. You did a wonderful job with that. It was amazing. Oh my goodness. You just took it away and did your thing. And I want to thank Dr. Ebanks, Her Excellency, for a wonderful job she did in Vegas and also in the Washington, D.C. at Swahili Village. That was awesome. And I want to say that it was a pleasure. And I want to say congratulations to Sudan for being herself and her outstanding work that she did for representing her state of Florida. So I want to say congratulations. And for me, GODSU is a family that you can call on, and they're always there because they wake up at 6 in the morning and they get on social media. They are a part of just well connected. So if you just you just need a good how you say, you want to wake up in a good way, and all you have to do is turn on your computer or your phone and get all these messages, and you stay connected. And they always give you a word of prayer. So, I want to thank you for that. You guys are doing a wonderful job, even during the pandemic and just during all the time. But anyway, I want to say thank you for that. So I'm a photographer. I am also a videographer, and I also do interviews. And I work at Howard. I work at Swahili Village. I work at so many places. I wear many hats, but my passion is my photography and my family. So if you're interested in photography, or if you're interested in getting some of my photos that I've taken over the years or recently, it's Dr. Patricia McDougall, Patricia's Professional Photos. I have a couple of websites. I'm going to give you my phone number, 571-309-7857. Or you could reach me you can check out my websites at www.patriciamcdougallphotos.com or Patricia McDougall on the scene.com or Patricia McDougall. I have so many of them, I can't even begin to tell you. Anyway, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. Just look up Patricia McDougall, and you'll see all my work. And I truly enjoy being a part of the GODSU family. So I want to thank you for that, and Your Excellency, and the whole family. I feel like they're part of my family, so thank you. Okay. Patricia's Professional Photos, my phone number is 571-309-7857, and you can just email me at pmcdougall6@gmail.com. And all my websites I just listed. The most important one is patriciamcdougallphotos.com or patriciamcdougallphotos.net or Patricia McDougall on the scene. I'm like you, Dakar. I have many sites, many things, wear many hats. And so just all they have to do is Google my name and they can find me. So thank you.
Oh, yes. Thank you. And we have helping with administrative work and public relations for GODSU, our GODSU Chancellor, the Right Honorable Her Excellency Reverend Dr. Diane Moore Eubanks, JD Chaplain. And she's Miss Senior Florida USA and Miss Senior Jamaica Universe. She's also Senior Vice President of Invita Financial Network. She's the founder and co-host of the God Success Teach and Pray and the GODSU Wednesday Icon Talk. Also helping with administrative work for GODSU, our Vice Chancellor, His Excellency Dr. Willis Eubanks Chaplain, who is the CEO of Take Action Now IT Inc., doing business as Tanit. He's the GODSU Vice Chancellor as well as Board Advisor. We have Assistant Dean Apostle Dr. Adrian Jackson Chaplain, President and owner of Global Expert Solutions, LLC. She's a co-host on the God Success Teach and Pray and a GODSU board member, Dean of Administration as well, and Senior Administrator to the Office of the Chancellor, helping with public relations and administrative work, Assistant Dean Lakeisha Richards Chaplain, GODSU Assistant Dean of Administration to the Office of the Chancellor, and she's a co-host for the God Success Teach and Pray, as well as the CEO of LJ Richards LLC. Our paralegal and administrative work, we have our director, Her Excellency Cairo Dr. Eubanks, UNCSR CLC CEC Chaplain, Miss Broward County. She's the CEO of Cairo Speaks and Cairo Writes, and she's the GODSU Director of Administration, Board Advisor, and Co-Director of the Junior Ambassador Program. Being a speaker for GODSU, we have Dr. Tommy Thompson Chaplain, CBA, who's the president of Basilio Kaba Associates, helping with fundraising for GODSU. Assistant Dean, Dr. Charles Olawale, Chaplain, Principal Consultant of Graffiti Consulting, Inc., also GODSU Assistant Dean of Iconic Recruits, and God Success Teaching Parade co-host. And we have the remainder helping with public relations for GODSU, our Dean, His Excellency, Dr. Matthew Fogg, Chaplain, MSNBC and CNN analyst, Dean Reverend Dr. Leo Pickett, Chaplain, CEO of Leo's Worship and Praise, GODSU Dean, Chaplaincy, Director of Music, and God Success Teaching Parade co-host. We have Desnant Dr. Franca Dennis, Chaplain. She's the Program Officer of the Department of Education and a GODSU Professor of the Marriage and Family Chaplaincy Program. Our Queen Mother, Her Excellency Dr. Delois Blakely, Chaplain. President of New Future Foundation, Inc., Reverend Dr. Agrom C. Dike, President of Caribbean and African Faith-Based Leadership Conference, also known as CAFBLC. Senior Director, Her Excellency Dr. Arlene Span, Chaplain, who is the founder of Arlene Sweats. GODSU Board Advisor, as well as NFI Jamaica board member, and she is a GODSU Senior Dean of Administration. We also have His Excellency Dr. Jerome Span, Chaplain, who is the CEO of Span at Your Service, followed by Andrea R. Hillard, Chaplain, who's the CEO of Andrea's Caleb's Events, LLC. We have the Ambassador, Her Excellency Ambassador, Desnant Dr. Hilda Saka Mofazi, who's the permanent representative of African Union to the United States of America. Our Dean, Reverend Dr. Lalithia Davis, Chaplain, CEO and founder of Dior to Live in Overflow, who's a co-host of the God Success Teach and Pray. She's also a board advisor to GODSU and the Dean of Chaplaincy Program. We have Erwo May, who's the founder and CEO of Golden Marketing Consulting, LLC. Also have Reverend Dr. George Edward Holmes, who is a GODSU supporter. We also have Rowan Dennis, who is also a GODSU supporter. Our Dean Imam, Dr. Talib Sharif, Chaplain, who's the president and Imam of the nation's mosque, Masjid Muhammad. And we have our Miss Black Florida talented teen, the Miss Black USA title holder for the Sunshine State, Sudan A.L. Eubanks, who's the CEO of Sudan Dolls, Games, and Apps, and she's a co-host on the God Success Teacher Pray. We have Mr. Jonathan Wade, who is a GODSU supporter, physician, Her Excellency Dr. Rhoda McKenday, PhD, Chaplain, founder of Drome. We have Dr. Jesse Sharp, Chaplain, Dr. Malcolm D. Alexander, Chaplain, who's the founder and president of Above and Beyond the Call Enterprises, also known as ABCE. I help with public relations as well. Director, His Excellency Dakar Eubanks, Chaplain. I'm the CEO of Dakar Marketing Tools and Director of Operations at GODSU. I'm a co-director of the Junior Ambassador Program, and I am host, MC, and director for both the God Success Teach and Pray and our Wednesday Icon Talk. And a little bit about me. I am the CEO of Dakar Marketing Tools, which is an international graphic and printing company providing you with all of your marketing needs to help you and your company grow. Our popular products are rings, branded pins, branded golf shirts, and branded jackets. And we also have our GODSU African American History Bibles. In addition, we provide merchandise that is crucial to your business's growth, such as our magazines. We have banners, flyers, digital business cards, as well as printed business cards. And with our innovative tools, you can turn your brick and mortar into an e-commerce platform. During this time of constant Zoom meetings and webinars, we at Dakar Marketing Tools want to make sure you're prepared with our Zoom for Profits course. You can join on demand. You can see the information on the screen how to do so. Some of the courses covered are how to make money doing Zoom, Zoom Essentials, Basics, as well as turning your brick and mortar into an e-commerce platform. I also want to extend a special appreciation to our GODSU leaders who have volunteered many hours. We appreciate those who have provided actual names, emails, and phone numbers of referrals. GODSU is grateful for the opportunity to add workers of God to our database, as well as register for our educational programs. And also, I want to give you a preview of next week. We have our Master Class 11, Turning Your Mirages into Miracles, Overcoming Obstacles, and Becoming a Winner, sponsored by the God Success Teaching Program. Our moderator is Dr. Patrick Freeman Chaplin. Also, our panelists, we have 5 panelists, is Assistant Dean Eva J. Brown, Christian Fendrick Chaplin, Dr. Nanyemi Timlong Chaplin, Dr. Winnie Malenwa Chaplin, and Andrea R. Hillard Chaplin. And that was out of our Empower You Conference, May 2021 edition. So I look forward to seeing you all there, August 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So remember to also like, subscribe, comment, and share. And please be sure to stay tuned. We do have some more messages that follow. Thank you.
Global Ovid Day Seminary and University GODSU is a 501c3 interfaith e-learning Global Florida Department of Education Commission of Independent Studies approved degree issuing religious institution of higher learning under Florida Statute 1005.061F in Miramar, Florida, a suburb of Fort Lauderdale suburbs. Our curricula include programs like our theology diploma, bachelor's, master's, and PhD programs, which are designed for students called to the ministries of teaching and preaching. Program enrollees include pastors, evangelists, missionaries, and laypersons. Our additional courses: Entrepreneurial Studies, premier self-development courses on wealth building. We also offer a mini course for youth, the Junior Ambassador Youth Public Speaking, to gain professional and personal skills. Chaplaincy Diploma, Love and Spiritual Interfaith and Christian programs. Chaplains are trained, certified leaders attached to either a religious and/or non-religious institution or organization. Cybersecurity IT courses. Our licensed instructor has a 95% pass rate compared to the 30% national average for CompTIA accredited courses, such as Security Plus and Network Plus. 40% of our alum who've gone through our prestigious GODSU honors programs have also previously matriculated through their earned doctorate programs. Our alum include physicians, ambassadors, statesmen and stateswomen, icons, and billionaires, religious leaders, titans in business, global philanthropists such as Ambassador of Ghana to the United States, His Excellency Dr. Bafor A.J. Bewa, Ambassador of Nigeria to the United States, His Excellency Dr. Sylvanus Musafor, billionaire builder and dean, His Excellency Dr. Michael V. Roberts, former Maritime Minister, Government of Nigeria, Honorable Dr. Leke Olawale. Our world-class and esteemed professors include Attorney Her Excellency Reverend Dr. Diane Moore Eubanks, PhD, Chancellor, Physician Dr. Eric Bizetsky, Clinical Health and Nutrition and GODSU Medical Expert, Physician Her Excellency Rhoda Makinde, PhD, Chief Medical Doctor, GODSU, Medical Missions, Dean Michael V. Roberts, JD, PhD, Dean of Entrepreneurship Studies, Dean Kyra Eubanks, Dean of Junior Ambassador, Professor Willis Eubanks, PhD, Dean of Cybersecurity Program, Professor Imam Dr. Talib Sharif, Professor Interfaith Program and Chaplaincy, Professor Reverend Dr. William Blake, Theology Program Curriculum Development, Professor His Excellency Dakar Ethical